Hello, coolers. Welcome back to another interesting episode of Viva Barca. Welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing the latest developing stories. Of course, talking about news still related to the economic levers that were approved yesterday in the General Assembly. It has been reported that Barcelona could receive a gigantic 800 million euro boost ahead for the summer business. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then secondly, we are going to be talking about this other report, talking about our possible lineup for next season, as this report from Spanish journalist Javi Miguel, of course, brings about Xavi's preferred starting lineup next season for Barcelona. We are going to be discussing on that as well. So guys, as we get right into it, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Give the video a like and make sure to watch the video right up to the very end. Barcelona Assembly approved the sale of 49.9% of BLM and 25% of the television rights yesterday in an attempt to save the club from financial ruin. The sale of two of the club's most important assets is expected to generate a revenue large enough to help Barca pay off their debt, manage the gigantic workforce, and also finance moves for several top targets in the market. Friday's print edition of Mundo Deportivo has offered details on the exact numbers Barca are expected to earn following the sale of Barca licensing and merchandising and TV rights as well. The Spanish daily speculates a figure of around a range 7 to 800 million, which could go a long way in helping the club drag itself out from financial ruin. Barcelona have already received a package of around 275 million euros for BLM. 200 million euros was offered in cash, while the additional 75 million euros was to be paid through add-ons. But the club president Joan Laporta has swiftly rejected the proposal. Laporta is holding out for better offers as he values BLM much higher. He is expecting to generate a 300 million euros windfall from the sale of the club's merchandising and licensing. Barca are expected to generate even more revenue from the sale of TV rights. Laporta had earlier claimed to have received an offer of around 1 billion euros for 100% sale of TV rights, but the proposal was rejected by the board. Barcelona are not willing to sell the entirety of that TV rights, owing it is an important source of constant revenue. They are, however, prepared to listen to offers for the sale of a quarter percentage of the TV rights for a period of up to 25 years. Following the approval of the economic levers yesterday, of course, it has been reported that 800 million euros is what we are expecting, and I think that is huge money that can do Barca a lot, like can facilitate our transfers and many other things. It can ease Barca a lot, which is very great, very great. And let's see how Laporta and his board uses that huge sum of money. Because now that Barca have approved that deal, many Barca fans, many Barca faithfuls, the socios will be putting their expectations somehow high for the fact that we are supposed to get what we want. We are supposed to get the targets that we want. Of course, that's what we all want, right? But Barca just need to do it wisely. And of course, given the fact that Xavi has a very good sporting project in hand that he can use to convince the targets, our transfer targets, which can also play a big role for them to join Barcelona. That's also very important. So let's see how it goes. But let's see, will Barca be able to buy all their top or their priority targets? I still don't know. I hope they do, but it's going to be hard because most of those top targets, they are not free agents. We're talking about the Jules Koundé, the Lewandowski, the Rafinha, of course, talking about Bernardo Silva as well. I mean, those top targets that Barca are really prioritizing, they are players that involve money in their transfer operations. Huge money, not any small money, you know. So let's see how it goes. Very important. But 800 million euros is good money that we're not even expecting. But given the fact that Barca have approved, the members, the socios yesterday approved that economic level, then good and fine. It will help us a long way in our transfer business. Then on to the next story of discussion. Xavi, who will now be at the helm of his first full season at Barcelona, has asked the Barca administration not to hold back in the transfer market. Xavi's demands are very, very specific. And some of the signings he wants to make walk directly into the starting lineup. According to Javi Miguel, the coach has a very specific starting lineup in mind for next season, featuring 6 new players. Marc-Andre ter Stegen, for all his faults in the last 3 campaigns, continue in goal in his hypothetical lineup. The back line is almost completely revamped, with 3 new signings coming in the fray. Our manager Xavi wants Chelsea duo Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso to provide width from the right and left respectively. Ronald Araujo features as one of the mainstays alongside what would be a dream signing for Serra Barca fans, Jules Koundé. The Frenchman is expected to cost an amount upwards of 60 million euros and will replace Gerard Piqué in the starting lineup. In the absence of a deputy defensive midfielder, Sergio Busquets will likely retain his spot. It is important to note that the journalists believe Xavi wants Bernardo Silva to replace Frankie de Jong in midfield, starting alongside Pedri. Finally, Javi Miguel reports that 2 out of front 3 will be replaced. Ousmane Dembele is expected to leave the club on a free transfer, with Rafinha taking his place in the starting lineup. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, though, is simply benched by Robert Lewandowski, with Ansu Fati rounding off the lineup on the left wing. Xavi is on the bench alongside fellow La Masia graduate Nico Gonzalez and the inevitable new signing of Franck Kessié. It also features Andres Christensen, Gerard Piqué, Ferran Torres, Eric Garcia, Sergi Roberto, Pablo Torre, and shockingly, Barcelona's secondary creative force last season behind Dembele, Jordi Alba. Wow, that would be interesting to see. Going by what these journalists have just reported, the possible lineup for Barca, if all our transfer targets come to pass, then I think Barca will have a great squad next season, which will be able to compete for La Liga, compete for the Champions League. I very much think so. I mean, the depth as well will be wonderful. The squad depth will be good. And that is what Barca need to do now. And let's just be optimistic. Let's just be confident that Xavi and Laporta are taking this club to the right direction. Just imagine that we get all these players, these intended targets, then Barca is going to be I think Barca will be going towards the right direction, because as we all know, Xavi is the one giving most of these demands. We quite remember when Xavi came as a new boss, it was made clear that Xavi will have a lot of power when it comes to transfers, and that is what Xavi is doing. He's recommending nearly all the transfer targets, because Xavi has a big plan. Xavi has a sporting project that Laporta and the board, they know it very well, and they want to collaborate with him. And if it works out, if what Xavi wants all works out, if we buy those players, then just imagine what Xavi will do. I am so optimistic that we will really get them, especially as we finally approved the economic levers yesterday, which will go a long way to help us in our transfer market. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.